Yes, this is known, and there's many more around the world and even under the ocean.
Yeah, even connecting. Yeah, interesting. Do you know where 91% of the missing children in this country end up?
Well, many of them end up in ritual sacrifice, unfortunately.
Underneath Denver Import. Absolutely. Well, like I said, you've done your homework, and it's just great to hear you on the air. I've never heard of you before, but Coast to Coast is great for bringing new information to people.
He is a first-time guest, but you know what, Stuart? I don't think you're going to be a last-time guest. I have a feeling you're going to come back.
Well, I appreciate that.
It's a fascinating program. Look, I owe you, too. You tell me about your books and where you can get them.
Yes, my books are available at my website at expansions.com, and you can also call 269-429-8615 to order any books or consultations or DVDs. I do have DVDs on all of this information that we've talked about tonight and much more.
Okay, very good. Let's go back to the phones. We'll go to our East of the Rockies line. You're on Coast to Coast. Hello there.
Good evening, George. Good evening, Stuart. How you guys doing?
Hi, fine.
Good. This is John from Newark, Delaware. You talked earlier about that all of us humans here on this planet have 10 to 15% DNA, reptilian DNA.
Yes, on an average.
How did you get DNA since you have to have a reptilian and have to have their DNA to compare it to? How did you get it?
Well, if you listened about how all human beings have reptilian DNA from the hybridization program in ancient times.
Well, how did they get it is what I'm saying. You have to have a piece of their skin or saliva or something to get the DNA to compare it to.
Oh, I see what you're saying, like a sample of the reptilian. Yes, well, you know, the reptilians have been interacting with the government for many, many decades. And so, yes, there is availability for getting that kind of DNA. There was even reptilians at the Dulce base at the Four Corners area in New Mexico, which, as you know, there was an event there that the aliens took back that base on their own. There's many, many stories of battles that have occurred throughout the Earth where reptilians have been killed and their DNA has been taken.
Well, how come the whole world doesn't know this? Do you actually believe that you got DNA from reptilians?
I know that they have.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's great entertainment for the show, but personally, I think you're a complete whack.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion, and I think that people who don't accept this are really in for a ride on themselves.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Stuart, the important thing of the information you're bringing out is that you at least make people think.
Well, George, I think that some of the material that people don't want to accept, they have fear issues, so they attack the messenger, and that makes them feel comfortable.
Right. I don't have any problems with people not believing what you're saying or they don't accept what you're saying. That, the strength of this program is to take what our guest says without, major conflict in the comment and just, make up our own minds. I could sit back here and jump up and down or not. And I don't want to do that. I'd much rather people make up their own minds and decide if what they think they hear is correct or not.
Well, I agree with that.
West of the Rockies, you're on the air with us. Hi there.
Yeah, hi, my name's Zach. I just wanted to say, hey, I'm so glad you came on. I've been waiting for such a long time just to hear this kind of topic on your show about mind control. I wanted to get into a couple things specifically. I've been trying to find out as much info as I could on trauma-based mind control. Do they even do that so much anymore now that they have, other types of things like microwave, antennas and everything like that? And have you ever seen any of those trauma-based mind control rituals, or what do you know about that?
Yes. In fact, I have an entire DVD on that topic. True that they no longer need to take an individual in a so-called programming session to traumatize them, although that does occur from time to time still. they are able now with the new technology to directly transmit programming information into a human brain. And that is done, again, as I mentioned, from satellite transmission, cell tower transmission, and there's even ways of doing it through television, radio, and even through the wiring in your home, where they can transmit certain frequencies that download into the brain. The biggest download basically occurs overnight when people are sleeping, because that's the easiest time. There's no resistance. I have seen these trauma-based incidences. I've unfortunately had them happen to me during the Montauk Project. So yes, these things do occur. And you're correct that the new technology now can circumvent most of the physical need for programming sessions.
Let's go next to we're not going to have time. Let me ask you this, though. You seem to have hope that we're going to win this. Is that true?
I think we have to. There's no question in my mind that he has to overcome this. And no one remains ignorant forever. Ultimately, people will say they've just had enough. And again, they can't the God mind within you. They can only make you think that you're not connected to God mind, but it is always there. And in my work, I help people to connect that, to realize that, and to utilize that.
All right. Sounds like you have call waiting, by the way. Did you have another call coming in?
I wasn't paying attention to it.
I heard you drop out for just a little bit. No, you cannot take the other call, Stuart. You're going to stay with me. I know that. Well, we're going to come back. We're going to take more phone calls. Stuart, do you get support when you talk about this topic, or do people kind of shun you?
I'm getting mostly support. Of course, there's always people out there who don't want to hear this or to accept it. And again, I agree, it's their prerogative. And I don't force anyone to believe it. I state what I know, and you can accept or reject it. However, rejecting it doesn't change what I know or what I experienced. But for the most part, I have these days a lot of acceptance and support in this work.
Well, good for you. All right, well, stick with us. We'll be back in a moment. Very quick night. We'll take your final phone calls on Coast to Coast AM. I'm George Norrie. Under some of these mind control programs, can somebody be deprogrammed?
Absolutely.
Well, that's one good thing. Do you have to do it through a specialist or what?
Well, you have to know the techniques to download the programming and undo it. And I have an entire series of visualizations and exercises that I teach people and coach them through in order to do this. And it is a long process. It's not going to happen in a couple of days or a couple of weeks. It takes years and years. In fact, I have been deprogramming since 1990, and I still have a bit to go as well. So no one should expect to have it done quickly. I feel that it can be done and it can be accomplished ultimately, completely, but you need to be patient and consistent and persistent.
Let's go back to final calls. West of the Rockies, where are you calling from? Hi there.
Hi, this is Cindy calling from Cedar City, Utah.
Hi, Cindy.
And my question is, what are crop circles? And I'll take my answer off the air.
Stuart, you haven't brought up crop circles. Do you want to talk about that? If
Sure.
not, I'll go ahead.
I'll talk, sure, no problem.
Take it away.
Jokingly, I call them crap circles, and that is because they're not what people think they are. I happen to have known the person at Brookhaven National Labs who said that he helped create them. What they basically are energetic injections into the morphogenetic grid of the Earth to change life forms on the surface and even below. So what you're seeing are archetype symbols, what I call language of hyperspace that I teach, which are being put in a sentence form to get a certain result. So that if they want to change the genetics of a certain species or a group of or change something in an area, they will create these crop circles that go into the genetic grid there and then alter everything in the area. They're not from Space Brothers.
Okay, and also, go to earthfiles.com if you also want to get another explanation on crop formations from Linda Moulton Howe. Let's go to our first-time caller line. You're on with Stuart Swerdlow. Hi there.